out a sheet of paper and a pencil, and I can still help guide you through this process. Now, this is something that I use every day. I use this in my personal life. I use it in planning meetings on the job. I've helped any number of corporations and companies and churches install this process. What I'm talking about today will keep control of any kind of an activity. Now, here's what you do. You take any objective and right across the top of the page, just write out objective, and then write out whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, working off your planning guide, what you do is you go back and pick, just for the sake of this exercise, pick any one of those objectives and write it out. Let's say that in one of your short-term financial objectives, you're saying to get out of debt, reduce the over expenditures on your credit cards, to pay off your bills, and to get current on all of your notes by a certain date. Now, that's specific, measurable, within a time frame. You're saying very definitely by a specific point in time you want to get your expenses under control. Now, right under that then, if you don't have the outline, write the word strategy. Now, here's the definition of a strategy. A strategy is like a game plan. Looking at athletics, let me give you some examples from athletics. If you're in the last 2 minutes of a football game, we commonly call the strategy then is you're in your 2-minute offense, or you're in your 2-minute defense. That's a strategy. In a basketball game, if you're in the last 30 seconds of the game, when you go into a stall, when the coach tells his team as they huddle around on the bench, and he says, well, to win the game, which is the objective, what we're going to do now is we're going to go into a stall. That's what a strategy is. A strategy is timing where to commit my resources, the things that I'm going to do. There's no action taking place. It's just a conscious decision on here's how I'm going to do things. Okay, let's take this financial objective then and think about strategies. And I'm going to share with you some of the strategies that I use to help a family get their debt picture under control. Number one, use your credit cards only for gasoline or absolute necessities. Now, that becomes a strategy. In other words, I'll carry those credit cards, but I'm only going to use them for one of those two reasons. What this particular family had done is everybody in the family had credit cards. The youngster away at college, a junior in high school, mom and dad. If you get 4 people using credit cards, it's real easy to say, well, I'll just charge this, or one more little charge won't hurt anything. Well, if you get 4 people every day saying, well, one more charge isn't going to hurt anything, you'll get in the same position this family will. Your credit card's going to be up to the limit all the time. So what you do is you develop strategies. We'll let you keep that credit card, but you can only use it for 1 or 2 purposes or for emergencies. Okay, other strategies are things where you keep track when you go into the grocery store and make up items that you're going to buy. I've seen all kinds of statistics on how we spend money in our grocery stores, and it's proven that if you'll list the things that you need, do a good job of planning, and then go through and use your coupons, you can save up to $25 a month just using your coupons and make very specific purchases that you'll do a better job of spending your money, a more economical way of spending your money than if you just wander through. Because what are you going to do when you wander through? You're going to pick up this, you're going to pick up that. Well, there's a little expensive cheese dip or caviar or something that I hadn't thought about. You're going to, about 1/3 of what you buy are going to be impulse purchases, things that you really don't need. If you want your financial house in order, you're going to have to be careful about how you spend your money. What you're doing is you're listing your strategies. The use of coupons is a strategy. Okay, right under that then, write out the word action plan. Then put the person responsible. Now here you're going to list some very specific things. Now let me give you an example of something that I notice especially happens a lot in churches and nonprofit areas. You'll be planning to do something, and you'll have a planning meeting, or a family is going to go on an outing and you're having a planning meeting, And one person says, I'll gas up the car, well, I'll load the tennis rackets. Another person says, I'll do this, I'll do that. Or say a church picnic. The committees are standing there just literally volunteering to do this, that, and the other. If you'll take out a pen, and as each person acknowledges they're going to do something, I'll line up the canoes. Another person, I'll bring the hot dogs. Another person, I'll bring the life jackets. I'll bring the car. If you'll write down each of these actions, write down the person's name who's responsible, and then in a third column, write down the date that they're supposed to have this accomplished, what you've in effect has got a written record of your plan. Now, if it's part of your own personal plan, then you've got to write out the very specific things that you've got to do. And almost the day that you do them, the day that you're going to get haircuts, the place you're going to get your haircut, how you're going to spend your money. Everything you're going to do, you're going to write down in an action plan. Then you've got to take a look and say, is there anything that I'm leaving out? Is there any possible thing that I'm leaving out? To be successful, to achieve that objective, have I listed every last detail of what I've got to cover? Ask other people. The more people that you get to look at it, the more suggestions. Well, you left out this, or nobody's bringing the salt shakers. Then, either write it out or type it up. And most of us work in a place where there's a Xerox machine, or you can use one. If not, you can go to post offices. There's any number of places that you can go to have cheap copies made. Then what you do is take that sheet of paper, put it right down on the Xerox machine, make the number of copies for the number of people that are involved in the plan. Then what you do is you get a copy of that plan to each person. Either circle their name or yellow it in, and get that copy to them. Mail it to them, hand it out to them, get it to them one way or another. That way each person can see, for us to achieve this objective, to have a successful church retreat,